Do not listen to the majority of YouTubers. Listen to your Uncle Cruise Tube. I didn't say Tom there for obvious reasons. Ambassador is not the cruise line for everyone. But I took a trip on the smallest of their 2.5 ships, and there was enough to love that I'm returning 4 times over the next couple of years. 10 things I loved and 10 that I hated on Ambition. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we go. I love being made to do a proper old school muster drill. Most people prefer the modern system. Pretend you've watched the in-cabin video, scan your card at the muster station and start getting drunk. I prefer the traditional way. Pretend to pay attention to announcements and crew demonstrating life jackets. Get shouted at for not standing close enough to the people on either side, and go power slam a few black coffees. Good times. I hate the prom deck. It's not a wraparound, it's just a tiny little ledge that you can perch on each side of deck 6. It's not even big enough to really be called a prom deck. It should be called, PD. That was the name of a dog my mother used to have, and I hated that too. I love the take it or leave it main dining rooms. It's an old school traditional ship, and I'm an old school traditional guy. There's like 3 tables for 2 on board. For everyone else, it's shared tables, and it's early or late dining in the MDRs. What's that? Flexible / freedom / anytime dining? Yeah, you have to be flexible because all you have is the freedom to eat at any time, Ambassador tell you. The early sitting is early, 5:45. Neighbours hasn't even finished by then. I hate that there's no proper late night snacks. If you are selling a traditional cruise ship, then stick with the traditions. Stuffing your face with food you don't even want in the buffet at midnight is a basic human right that can be traced back to the Magna Carta. And don't come at me with all that canapes in the bars nonsense. I don't want to sit with my black coffee surrounded by pensioners getting Larry on the sherry just so I can get a sausage on a stick. I love the Baked Alaska Parade. It's pointless, it's tacky, it's from times gone by. Obviously, I love it. I hate that they put Friends of Bill meetings in a bar. What the actual funk? There's a library, a craft room, a card room, a conference room, and hardly anything going on during the day. Why would you push people struggling with alcohol into a bar? I love whatever the hell the Theatre at Sea program is. I did have a bit of a Google, but it didn't help. And I don't care enough to really dedicate myself to the search. It's some kind of am-dram or student project. On my trip, I saw a guy in a bar do a very short performance of a 999 call centre agent taking a call from Joseph when Mary's water broke. And a very hokey murder mystery thing in the theatre. On another day, I might feel cheated by what I assume are performers gigging for free travel. But on this day, I just thought, I hate one of the dancers in the shows on the first 3 nights. The one with dark eye makeup like Black Swan. Woman, nobody else has that makeup. It's not part of the show, and everyone else is following the script. You're not Natalie Portman. You're not even Ambition's best Natalie Portman tribute act. Just stop it. I love one of the dancers in the shows on the next 3 nights. The one with the dark eye makeup like Black Swan. A little bit of ballet goes a long way for me. I'll go to maybe 1 a year, and when I do, they have to keep the bit until pretty late in the show. When I go to the zoo, put the things that look a bit like a deer or a horse by the door. I'll lose interest if I see the tigers straight away. At the ballet, let people jump around the place for an hour and save ballet tiptoes until the end. That is what I'm there for. Well, Natalie Portman only blinking did ballet toes. She's my favourite after all. And if you've got a problem with her makeup, I will fight you. I hate The three morons that arrived to the theatre late stood at the back chatting at full volume and didn't stop when the stroppy muster drill guy politely asked them to. Twice. To the point that I stepped in. I mean, who does ambassador security? G4S? Anyway, I was slightly more keen to be understood, and they briefly thought about arguing before they left. Now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you want to watch a show in the theatre, go to the theatre. If you want to get smashed in a bar, get smashed in a bar. Idiots. I love the food. Don't get me wrong, it's not impressive in isolation. It's absolutely fine and certainly better than I can cook. But factor in the fares you pay to be on an ambassadorship, and the fact that you aren't just getting 3 super noodles a day is borderline miraculous. The food on here is bare minimum P&O equal. No, it's better. The puddings on Ambassador are worth eating. I hate the weird terry toweling bedding. For reasons that only Ambassador know, I was moved to 3 different cabins that were all the exact same grade. The first and last cabin had normal human bedding for normal human mans. The middle cabin had weird terry toweling sheets. Now, I don't know if it's a precaution because a lot of the guests are pretty old or what. Still, save me getting up in the middle of the night for a whittle. I love the massive amount of space on this tiny ship. This ship was built before every square inch of space had to bring in revenue, and guests were packed in so tight that they could share underpants. In fact, this ship has so much space that they can waste loads of it with a massive photography studio that's never manned, and a conference room that's never used. I know it only holds 1,200 guests, but the car I drove to port in is bigger. I hate mid-cruise price changes. For the first 3 nights, black coffee was £2.75. For the next 3, it was £3.30. Now, I don't want to show off, but I can stretch to £3.30. And it's still the cheapest of any ship in the last year. And yes, there is included coffee in the buffet, which I had plenty of too. But I'm retired. Every penny counts. I love the crew. Even the ones that can't do ballet toes. Ambassador Marketing Fluff repeats the warmest welcome at sea mantra, and to be fair, it is bloody good. I don't know if the crew are better than my favourites at Cunard, but they are definitely in the conversation. They genuinely seem to love the Baked Alaska parade. It was nothing like the dead behind the eyes flag waving of the Ventura Gala Night parade. Everyone seemed to know my name, and because they don't really know me, they always smiled, which nobody ever does in my real life. I hate the swing and a miss in-cabin infotainment. It costs them more than not bothering to invest in a system, and it's achieved nothing because they chose a system built on Windows 95. You choose a TV channel or a ship info and press a button. But unless you were a baby at the time, you'll have died of old age before anything happens. I love the lack of upselling. I'm not going to call it nickel and diming because I haven't even got turkey hair or fake outrage. There's no art gallery, there's no aggressive sales staff in the shops or the spa, and the saunas and steam room are included in the fare. They do have a photographer taking photos at dinner time, but good luck finding anyone in the photo studio to buy anything from. And they do have specialty dining, but nobody trying to sell it. You can't even book it on the app. If you want to give them extra money for food, then you have to queue up at reception to earn it. I hate the public bathrooms. It's an old ship and it's a bit shabby in places, but it's been tarted up over the years and it's generally a pretty nice place to be. Until you need a whittle, or worse. The bathrooms have not only not been updated since the build in 1999, they look like they were second-hand when they were fitted. On one side of the door is a cruise ship, on the other side is the toilets for my motorway services. I love the smoking areas, and the smokers on board following the rules. If they have to do it, away from me is the perfect place. One side of the prom deck is a smoking area, and because it's a rubbish prom deck, they're not connected, and I can march backwards and forwards like a madman in peace. Up on deck 11, the smokers effectively have their own bar, and enough space to run, wheeze, and dig and play, and because they get a reasonable area, all but one horrible vaping witch followed the rules. Great. I hate the lack of activities before 5 PM. During 6 days on board, daytime activities included the 8-minute am-dram skit, a hokey murder mystery, rolling a ball into a hole in a stairwell, and, that's it. Take a book or write a book or go and count the chairs in the buffet, because during the day you're in charge of your own entertainment. There are 372 chairs, FYI. So there you go. If TikTok has fried your attention span and you can't sit through my full review, there's enough here to get the gist. 10 things I loved and 10 that I hated on Ambassador Ambition. Done.